This is ICASTnews.com, live and direct from United Nations headquarters in New York City, USA. And this is heat in the Middle East. In the Middle East and everywhere else throughout the world, if one thing is sacred, it's children. If one thing is distinguishing of combat situations in recent years, is that children have been involved in armed conflict. This may have been going on much longer than we know, but it's getting a lot of attention now. And the United Nations has focused on children in armed conflicts. And now, thanks to the work of the good people at Reuters, who have seen an early draft of the most recent report on children in armed conflict, there's a confrontation ahead for the United Nations and a challenge for the new Secretary General of the United Nations. The draft report on children in armed conflicts has said that there is an unacceptably high 51% responsibility for children's deaths and injuries in the war in Yemen, the civil war that's been going on since the spring of 2015. And they say that 3/4 of the schools destroyed and most of the children killed are the responsibility of the coalition led by Saudi Arabia, which has been battling to restore the previous regime in Yemen, to undo the attacks by Houthi rebels who are backed by Saudi Arabia's great enemy, Iran. The draft report is quite strong on this, and it presents a challenge to the Secretary General, Antonio Guterres. The previous report, which attacked Saudi Arabia for needlessly killing children in Yemen, was withdrawn. At least withdrawn to the point where Saudi Arabia was not put on the so-called blacklist of killers of children. Some said this was the result of their blackmail of the former Secretary General, Ban Ki-moon. Sources have denied this. The Saudis have denied, saying that they would pull all their money out of the UN unless this was removed. But mysteriously, Ban Ki-moon, showing little spine, backed down and took Saudi Arabia off the blacklist. With a new report specifying that 3/4 of the schools destroyed and 51% of the children killed in Yemen are the responsibility of the Saudi-led coalition, the Saudis flying American-made jets, dropping weapons, dropping bombs, using bullets made in the United States. What is Antonio Guterres going to do? So far, this, of course, is a draft report. And it's a draft that hasn't been officially distributed. But the good people at Reuters have brought the world's attention to this report, and this puts the Secretary General of the United Nations in something of a hot seat. What will happen? Will the report become officially distributed? Will there be an amendation? Will Saudi Arabia and its coalition partners be put on a blacklist for being guilty of killing children and doing them in an armed conflict situation? That's something that will be resolved throughout the remainder of the summer and into the fall, and no doubt we will be hearing about it when the General Assembly gathers for its session marking the start of autumn at UN headquarters in New York. For ICASTnews.com, live and direct from United Nations headquarters in New York City, USA, for Heat in the Middle East, I'm Jonathan Sanders.